I don't know the details because they were looking at this text message and then they were saying, oh, Tami's messy. And
they were saying I was messy. See, that's that I don't like. Excuse my language right now because I was trying to keep it cute with you.
Yeah.
But that's that bull that I don't like.
Let's be honest, longevity in reality TV almost never happens. A reality TV star will get their 15 minutes of fame and then we never see them again. Tami Roman has been in the reality TV world for 2 decades now. And other reality TV queens like New York and Nene Leakes carved their lane, but would they be around without Tami? Because she was the first. A lot of us know Tami from Basketball Wives, and others may know her as the Bonnet Chronicles lady, but she really got her start on the groundbreaking reality show The Real World. The Real World was basically a social experiment that put multiple strangers from all different walks of life under one roof just to see what would happen. The show tackled issues like race, class, and sexuality. And Tami Roman happened to be on season 2 of a show that would change the format of reality TV forever and make it possible for shows like Housewives and the many other shows that came after it to even exist.
Only really hanging with Kenya because I wanted to win the $600.
You mad I ain't get all those answers?
I'm mad we're not going to Philly into the Bahamas. Okay.
The last conversation Kenya and I had, he stated that I didn't really call him that much, and I told him that if he was going to wait for me to call him, he'd probably be waiting a very long time, and I haven't talked to him since, so.
More than anything in the world.
I'm a slave to your loving. I can't resist the fever of your kissing and your hugging. I'll be your prisoner, never will I complain. Hook me up in chains, ain't no shame, I'm your love slave.
Everybody didn't already know by now that I'm pregnant. I just kind of wanted everybody to know that I've made a decision that I'm going to terminate the pregnancy. And it was like a really hard decision for me to make that decision, but
I back you all the way, Tami, whatever you do.
Tami was an open book on The Real World, and the cameras followed her around while she tried to pursue a career in music as a rapper in a 4-person girl group, while also working a 9-to-5 at an HIV health clinic. This mentally took a toll on her because she watched a lot of the clients she took care of die because of the AIDS epidemic. Tami showcased her love life as a 20-something-year-old woman dating in LA while also trying to juggle different career aspirations. The thing that set The Real World apart from other shows was the fact that they weren't afraid to get heavy, and they dived deep into a lot of taboo topics, especially when Tami revealed to her housemates that she was pregnant and going to terminate the pregnancy. Being transparent came naturally to Tami, and this was a trait that made her so successful in her reality TV journey in the first place. Before Tami made her second reality TV debut on Basketball Wives, her main focus was acting. Reality TV was a brand new genre in the 90s, and some people assumed that The Real World was scripted. People didn't know exactly what reality TV was, so by the time The Real World season wrapped, Tami started getting roles for scripted TV shows. And her talent spoke for itself because she landed small roles on shows like Married with Children, Parkers, and The Steve Harvey Show, to name a few.
Dang, Nikki. About time. Girl, I've been sitting in my car over an hour. I almost died of carbon peroxide poisoning.
That's monoxide, you moron.
No, I think it's peroxide.
As Tami navigated her way through her goals of being an actress in the entertainment industry, she just so happened to meet NBA player Kenny Anderson at a party in New York, and they were married soon after. Tami traded her acting dreams for what she thought was the fairy tale life of a basketball wife. And it came with the house, cars, clothes, the kids, and the well-known NBA player husband. But of course, sometimes being married to a professional sports player comes with a price. And while everything looked great on the outside, Tami's marriage with Kenny was tumultuous and filled with infidelity.
I think that he has 7 kids from 5 different chicks. Did those kids happen during you guys' marriage?
Well, Kenny had 2 children while we were married with his mistress. And, so that was a very hurt and demeaning part of our relationship. A lot of men cheat, a lot of men don't have kids. So
by the end of their relationship, Tami received the devastating news that Kenny conceived not 1, but 2 children outside of their marriage. This was the ultimate betrayal, but it wasn't even the worst of it. because Tami decided to file for divorce only to later find out that she signed a prenup that granted her nothing. This was a major turning point in Tami's life because she went from being married to a multimillionaire, having everything she could ever dream of, to having $70,000 to her name. But she had a hustler's mentality, so she used that for a down payment on a home for her and her 2 girls, and she started pursuing her acting goals again, adding more acting gigs to her resume. Tami went from being financially taken care of to being a newly divorced single mother, and times were tough in between acting jobs. And while Tami waited to be casted for her next show, she got a regular 9-to-5 at Morgan Stanley, and she also received welfare to help supplement her income. The entertainment industry is fickle, and any opportunity can be your next big break. But as fast as you get a shot, you can lose it even faster. And unfortunately, the show that was supposed to be Tami's next big opportunity was never picked up. But when one door closes, another one always opens, and she had an aha moment that changed her life forever.
So I'm on the train, and she's like, I just saw you on Moonlight. What are you doing on the train? And so I was like, we're going to work like you, girl, you know, okay, you know, headed to Wall Street. When I got off work, I thought about it, and I was like, Tami, why are you settling for this being your life? You've got to figure out how to get back on TV. Like I said, I prefaced this earlier, the way my life works. Go home, and VH1 is doing a marathon of Basketball Wives.
Tami decided that she would give the show a shot, so she called the production company for Basketball Wives, and as fate would have it, the guy that produced Basketball Wives was also a producer on The Real World, and she was instantly casted for Basketball Wives Season 2. Tami's main goal was to show the reality of life on the other side of being a divorced basketball wife. And when Tami rolled onto the scene, she was real, raw, and a little rough around the edges. And because of this, she didn't really fit in with the rest of the ladies. And instead of the other ladies embracing Tami for being so honest and vulnerable, she was made fun of for it, specifically by Evelyn and Jennifer, who were the it girls of the show. Before they even knew Tami, they judged her harshly for her questionable fashion choices and hairstyles. Jen and Ev, aka Mean and Evil, fit the basketball wife mold to a T. They were put together with the latest fashions and hairstyles with bougie stank-ass personalities to match. And anyone who didn't fit that mold instantly got talked about. Rewatching Basketball Wives again as a grown woman, Evelyn and Jen's energy really gave on Wednesdays We Wear Pink. And that's a Mean Girls reference for the people in the back. Even though Tami didn't fit in at first, she always let her opinions be known, even if it sometimes got her in trouble. Tami's persona on the show was the ghetto, around-the-way chick who owned her past life and struggles, and the other women on the show used this against her. They thought that they were better than Tami, and it showed when Jen made the comment that she never seen a food stamp before because she grew up so wealthy.
Now I'm gonna tell you what the I said, because I don't want nobody to come and tell you what the I said. I said you rubbed me the wrong way too with the whole food stamp. I'm the that when I went to middle school, my father picked me up in a Porsche.
Tami took this the wrong way, turning it into a moment. And some people didn't understand why, because of course not everyone grows up broke, and some fortunate people have never had the pleasure of seeing food stamps. But it was deeper than that. It was a stupid comment to make and a flex on Tami to basically look down on her. The Mean Girl clique never fully embraced Tami because she didn't have the status of being a basketball wife anymore. And no, maybe she didn't look the part, but whatever she did have solidified her spot on Basketball Wives. Evelyn and Tami's relationship was always interesting to me. They were two of the most controversial people on the show, and they genuinely had a disdain for one another because sometimes two big personalities just don't mesh. It was never a love-hate relationship because I barely think they had a moment when they really liked each other, but they just tolerated each other because they knew their energies together worked for the show.
We really are somewhat mirror images of each other. You know, we're both spitfires. We both say what's on our mind. You know, we both will get it cracking at the drop of a hat. We both have that fiery spirit. So I wanted to make sure that we became friends rather than enemies.
Evelyn's Regina George act got in the way of any chance of a friendship from the beginning. Because when Tami first stepped foot into the group, Ev talked about Tami from head to toe without getting to know her fully. So I think Tami learned early on that she couldn't trust Evelyn. And it also didn't help that Evelyn revealed on the last day of filming season 2 that she had a whole affair with Tami's ex-husband before they were divorced, which led to this moment.
Me and your ex-husband dated. And we dated for like maybe, I would say roughly 6 months.
Did you
We did. We did. I'm not gonna lie, twice.
We trying to build a friendship. We trying to build some and for you to just be sitting, smiling in my face, laughing, cackling, he, that's up to me.
And just like you want to swear on your baby's life, I swear on my daughter's life that nobody even knew who you was.
You're missing the point of what the I'm saying.
What the I'm saying. You are a non-mother factor, bitch.
This moment birthed the infamous non-factor quote and killed any chances of Tami and Evelyn's friendship. Tami was known on Basketball Wives because of her short fuse and the many fights she found herself in with the other castmates. And because of this, she became very controversial. When I said that I was making this series on the 3 queens of reality TV, I got some pushback in the comments, and everyone asked, well, what makes Tami a queen? And they often brought up her violence on Basketball Wives, which I don't condone. But let's be honest, fighting on reality TV has become a normalized thing. Think Love and Hip Hop and Zeus Network. Basketball Wives is mild compared to some of the things that we see on reality shows of today. Tami may have more fights than quotable moments, but that still doesn't take away from her longevity and evolution. Being in entertainment for 20 years, especially in the reality TV genre, is unheard of, and the woman who was on Basketball Wives is not the same woman we see today, because people evolve. But back to our regular scheduled programming. Tami was indeed a firecracker on Basketball Wives. There was never a dull moment, but season 4 changed everyone's perception of Tami and Basketball Wives as a whole. Tami's altercations with newbies on the show, Keisha and Mika, showed her in a bad light, and she was labeled the bully of the show. And I'm not gonna lie, at that time, it seemed like Tami had a habit of only coming for the women she knew wouldn't give her the same energy back. And the viewers picked up on this. Basketball Wives quickly gained a reputation for cattiness and violence. Viewers even signed petitions against the show, causing them to lose sponsors and a lot of viewership. Almost 1 million viewers to be exact. Shaunie, the creator, EP, and cast member of the show, even went on press runs promising that there wouldn't be any more violence on the show and that they would try to do better. But by season 5, Basketball Wives lost that toxic magic that made the show entertaining, and VH1 totally tried to pivot and cut out any fighting on the show, and what we got was a very PG version of what Basketball Wives once was. Tami went on a journey of self-improvement by trying to shed the bad girl violent persona. Evelyn was recently divorced from Chad Ochocinco and mentally trying to heal from her domestic violence situation. Susie finally started sticking up for herself, and Shaunie was of course being Shaunie. We also were introduced to a new castmate, Tasha, who I actually thought was a great addition to the show, but she unfortunately only got 1 season. The ladies actually got along more than ever on season 5, and maybe it was only because people were over the constant violence, but whatever happened, the women ended up going from one extreme to the other, and it just didn't work, and Basketball Wives was canceled after 5 seasons. Tami could not keep herself off of our screens for long though, and people were highly excited to see her on the LA franchise of Basketball Wives.
Hello? Oh, bitch, no!
Tami Roman?
Between her and Jackie, I knew that Basketball Wives LA was going to be very entertaining. Tami made her return on season 4, episode 9, and it was everything I expected it to be. She didn't even need to be a full-time cast member to stir up the pot, and did she do it well? It only made sense for Tami to come on Basketball Wives LA because Drea was making her exit. Tami knew Jackie because they ran in the same basketball circles in the past, and Shaunie finally had an alliance with the Basketball Wives OG because she was also a new castmate on the LA franchise. And then we had the young Basketball Wives, Brandy, Malaysia, Angel, and Duffy. Tami coming on Basketball Wives LA made an already dysfunctional group more dysfunctional because her loyalty lied with Jackie and Shaunie, making it easy for her to pick a side in whatever ongoing beefs were happening in the group.
You guys and Jackie or you guys and Angel got into something. I would not let both of y'all
attack them. I'm not for the jumping, you know, and everybody pouncing on one
Don't insert
person.
yourself in something that you're not sure about, because then it can be definitely a big brawl.
But why would...
It's cute that Tami thinks that she knows us, but honestly, she don't. You telling me that you got Jackie's back? Do you want a problem? Because we can catch the fade, like, now.
The OGs of LA and the OGs of Miami were a unique pairing because it was the younger basketball wives versus the seasoned basketball wives. In Shaunie's words, the LA wives lacked substance, and the Miami wives were more established when in reality, they were all a bunch of grown women fighting on TV.
I feel that your group is a little immature. Maybe just because of some of the topics of conversation. So I'm just like sitting there like, ugh. Almost like y'all together, it's like you just don't want to just have a good time.
But either way, this caused a divide, and it didn't take long for Tami to revert back to her old self. By season 5 of Basketball Wives LA, Tami was promoted to a full-time castmate, and we watched her struggling with fertility issues while trying for a baby with her boyfriend Reggie.
I want to be pregnant so badly. I know that you haven't had a child and you want one, but that may not be what I'm capable of doing at this age.
This was a huge issue for her because Tami and Reggie had a big age gap between them, and she was coming to the realization that maybe she didn't want to have another child. As the season went on, we watched as Tami navigated being a momager to her daughter Jazz, helping her with her music video, which led to Tami hiring DJ Duffy to do the visuals for Jazz's song, and it ended in one of the biggest fights of season 5. Their business relationship didn't last long because DJ Duffy's unprofessionalism and nonchalant attitude and Tami's short fuse just didn't mesh, and of course drama ensued. Tami always seemed to fight with someone who didn't want to fight her, and it always made her look bad in the end. By season 6, Tami's arch nemesis Evelyn was back after a 4-year hiatus, and their back and forth drama honestly gave me whiplash. When Tami and Ev tried to rehash the beef after 4 long years, Tami wanted to talk about an old interview she seen where Evelyn trashed her, and Evelyn was still trying to prove that she wasn't a homewrecker with Tami's ex. Trying to get Evelyn and Tami to be cordial was almost impossible, but somehow Shaunie managed to do it by the middle of the season.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You guys are so cheesy.
I know.
And I love it. Who would have thunk you guys are this corny?
I know.
Nobody knows this part.
Then they both turned on Jackie. This was the most we saw them get along ever, and Jackie wasn't having it, which led to one of the funniest basketball wife moments in my opinion.
Let's just fight. There ain't f***ing funny, Tami. Don't start laughing. Just who you want it first? Take your shoes off, because I got on tennis shoes. I'm not even going to sit here and play this game. I'm not. There ain't funny. That was the funniest I have ever heard. And I've been here 46 years. Because Jackie, you don't want to fight me, child.
The reconciliation didn't last long between the two. By season 7, they were beefing again because, like I said earlier, they just genuinely didn't like each other, and Shaunie was always in the middle. The dynamic between Shaunie, Ev, and Tami always felt like Tami was trying to be accepted into the cool clique, but she constantly was rejected. I think Tami finally came to the realization that the women didn't like her during her last 2 seasons. No matter what the situation was, Evelyn always landed on Shaunie's good side. And I feel like Tami had reason to be upset because Shaunie played favorites. Evelyn talked about Tami like a dog her last seasons on Basketball Wives. She talked about everything from her looks to her health, and Shaunie took part in the dragging, but she never did the same with Tami.
I didn't have a bonnet, actually. I actually had a busted-ass wig and a fanny pack from when we first met you.
Okay. All right.
Telling Evelyn to have a conversation with Tami.
Well, she thinks that you possibly have a problem with me not laughing at you talking about Evelyn.
So, Jennifer, here we go again. I feel like there has been a line drawn in the sand as it pertains to how we deal with each other.
Been around Evelyn quite a bit. There have been tons of jokes, and I laugh.
If you're going to laugh on her side,
laugh on my side too.
This was
That's
a business
plotting
email
on
because
me.
actually,
That is
Tami,
plotting
you
on
don't
me with
remember
my-
the conversations
I do
and
remember
the
the
lie and the
conversa-
things that you told us when we were away. You told me and Shaunie that you could no longer have kids no more. I told
you
that
that, Shaunie
you
O'Neal?
could no longer have kids no more.
Shaunie.
You are fake
Tami,
as
I
you
I
are
told you
fake.
that.
Hold on. All right,
Tami Roman, don't
let me-
tap me. I don't remember exact conversations that we had. I don't.
Shaunie was blindly loyal to Evelyn even after the tea was spilled that Ev allegedly slept with her ex Shaq. This was a rumor that Tami got from Jennifer when they became friends while Jennifer was off of the show. Tami finally had an alliance with Jennifer and they both had a common enemy, or so she thought. Because as soon as Jennifer came back on the show, she flipped on Tami to try to get back in Evelyn's good graces, forgetting that she told all of Evelyn's tea to Tami, and Tami rightfully spilled it because she realized there was no loyalty amongst the ladies.
I heard this thing. I'm not gonna say who told it to me, but I want you to know that it's information that I would never and would have never ever said anywhere.
I'm not covering my ass. So Tami and I had a conversation about Evelyn sleeping with your ex. That was the conversation.
Sleeping with who? Shaunie?
Tami dropped a bomb on the group, but it didn't matter because Shaunie didn't believe it anyway, and it made Jennifer look horrible and the tension between Tami and Evelyn got worse. By the middle of season 7, you could tell Tami was over Basketball Wives. She was more focused on her career and family, the stuff that actually mattered.
And they've been talking about me. From day one, they have been talking about me. When I was the big bitch, they was talking about me. Ever since I've known them girls, they have been talking about me. And I just always try to be their friend.
I think that this was the moment that really sealed the deal. Tami was at her most vulnerable here, and it spoke volumes about where she fit in the dynamic of the group. At this point, Tami really didn't have a lot of scenes, and she didn't go to the group trip, and she also skipped the reunion. Tami was ready to move on with her life. While the drama on Basketball Wives was consistent, Tami made the most of it when she created the viral sensation Bonnet Chronicles on Instagram. It was inspired by two of her castmates, Brandy and Malaysia, because they made the comment that she jumped from show to show. So she decided to create something of her own. Tami shared personal stories, talked about hot topics, and gave advice, but in a funny, ratchet auntie kind of way. And it turned into something amazing, opening up doors for her to do her own thing.
It's hump day, y'all, and I'm trying to get over the hump of these nosy ass people that be all in your business. You know what I'm saying? And remember every detail too. Won't even let you make it. But when it comes to their business, they don't remember shit. They got amnesia. I just can't fucking take it. It's like, girl, do I talk about the fact that you don't wash your hands when you come out the bathroom? And every time you cook something, I don't say nothing. I just eat it and pray my way through it. Do I talk about the time that you were so pissy ass drunk that you actually pissed in my car? Pee stunk so bad my car reeked for 3 weeks. Now when you say you gotta pee, bitch, I have an anxiety attack. I'm in therapy because of that shit, but I don't say nothing.
Tami even signed the deal with Tidal for a Bonnet Chronicles miniseries. Things were starting to flourish for her, and I think she started to realize her potential outside of the show, making it easier for her to leave. So by the middle of season 8, that's exactly what she did. It was obvious that Tami was getting phased out of the show by season 7, so it was no shock when she left. But before she did, she secretly married her boyfriend Reggie and pursued the rap career that she always wanted. It was bittersweet seeing her leave, but Tami chose inner peace over drama, and it was the best thing she could have done for herself. Tami is one of the rare success stories that really makes me happy because she didn't let her past on reality TV stigmatize her and hold her back, and she evolved into her better self. But she had to let go of the toxic shit first to receive her true blessings. Some of these other reality stars out here need to take notes.
So on the shows that I've been on, I was always real. Yeah. And because of that,
it was evident. It was.
Thank you. Me trying to be real and other people not so much, it got tiresome.
Toxic.
Yeah. And so I had to step away.
Tami is now on an Emmy-nominated show, The Miss Pat Show. She has her own cheater-esque show called Caught in the Act, and the list goes on and on. Check her resume, okay? She's booked and busy. But with everything Tami went through on Basketball Wives, not completely fitting in, she got the last laugh. And no, she's not perfect, but she was always willing to change. She just couldn't do it on that show. Sometimes you have to cut off the dead weight to float to the top. But what do you think about Tami Roman's wild reality TV journey? When did you first discover Tami? On The Real World or Basketball Wives? Do you like Tami or do you think that she's a bully? Let's talk about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Gossip Snob. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.